I think that my most defining moment out of everything, like, I look at my walk and there's been a lot of things along the way that have kept me on track, but the one time that really stands out to me is the summer after my freshman year. My brother was in a really serious car accident, and my best friend that he was dating at the time was killed. And I remember feeling really frustrated and really angry. And at the time, like, I'd grown up in church. I've always been involved in church, but I never fully committed to it, just because it was something that I did it more for fun and for something to do rather than for God. And Jesse was in the hospital for like a week, and I just remember sitting in the waiting room, and I was frustrated, and I was to the point where I was just completely ready to give up on God, and I was absolutely done with it, because I knew that I had to make a choice to either do it or not. And I looked at it and I thought, why would he take someone that young? Why would you do that? And if he is God and if he does love us that much, why does that stuff have to happen? And I remember sitting in the waiting room, and one of my best friends at the time, he came and he sat next to me, and through the whole time I hadn't seen him cry, and I just wanted to be alone. I didn't want anybody to talk to me. I didn't want any friends. I didn't want anybody there, because I felt abandoned by everybody, and that's how I wanted it. And he sat next to me, and I looked over, and he had a tear streaming down his face, and he looked up and he said, you know, it's okay to be frustrated, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to doubt, but you can't let that define who you are. You have to move past that, and you have to fully embrace what God has for you. And he looked at me and he said, you have to make a choice. And he just got up and left. And I remember sitting in the waiting room and thinking, I've got to make a choice. And at that point, I chose that I was just going to give it all to God, because, yeah, he did take my best friend, but he left me my brother, and he left me a lot of things. Ever since then, I've just been completely focused on what God wants, and not so much what I want. And sure, there's times when I'm selfish and I do things that I want to do, but it's just been, I've realized that being planted and being focused on the things of God rather than the things of the world is way more important. And really, when it comes down to it, nothing else matters than to be serving God and to be fully devoted to Him. I would tell him that God's completely worth it, but He doesn't want you to be lukewarm. You've got to be either hot or cold. And I would just encourage them to give it all to God, and to just really be on fire for God, and to really have a passion in their life for God, because without that, life is pointless.